Well, in the last 7 months, an Elizabethton native has experienced the lowest of lows, but tonight she's excited to share some big news with us.
It's really incredible. Her husband, a U.S. Army soldier, died in April after suffering a gunshot wound to the head in Afghanistan. You probably have seen this picture. It has gone worldwide. That's Ashley Edens crying over her husband's flag-draped casket. Specialist Jason Edens was from Franklin, Tennessee, but attended East Tennessee State University, and that's where he and his wife's love story began. This week, that story took a surprising twist. News Channel 11's Nate Morabito found out Edens' love for her husband sparked her to do something remarkable.
He was goofy. He's just a goofy guy, and he was really likable.
Ashley Edens thought she and her husband would get to celebrate their 3rd wedding anniversary. After all,
it was a 9-month deployment, and he had been deployed 6, so we only had 3 left to go.
Specialist Jason Edens was set to return home from Afghanistan in no time. His wife never expected him to come home like this.
His platoon, there was like maybe 15 of them. Every single one of them wrote me a letter listing their favorite things about him. And what a good soldier he was, and I had this whole future planned out. And then to not have that future anymore, I was lost.
Amazingly, just 7 months later,
I always try to find the positives in things, and so it gets on my coworkers' nerves.
she's since moved back to the city where she and Jason fell in love and recently made a big life decision.
Does it scare me? No, I'm more excited.
Something she thinks would make her husband proud.
Before I met Jason, I thought about it, and then after he passed is when I really started considering it. In the last month is when I started to act.
This week, the bubbly 23-year-old started a new career.
I smiled the whole way through. Everyone was serious, and I was just like this, like, I do honorably swear.
A job that links her past to her future.
I'm joining because I have pride for this country.
Thursday, she enlisted in the Army.
I'm so glad to have the Army to give me that future again.
A way to honor her fallen soldier.
Now Jason is sort of my brother in arms as well as my husband.
It's also a way for the future medic to give back.
When Jason was in the Army, you're kind of like, the Army, you know? But when you're on the other end and you have a tragedy and you're dealing with unrealistic circumstances, the Army is there 100%.
Edens has experienced the best and worst the military can offer. Eventually, those worlds may collide again.
What I would really like to do after I get some rank and learn the ropes is I would really like to help families of fallen soldiers.
Families like her own, soldiers like Jason. She now follows in his footsteps.
I do it because I feel like it's what I need to do.
They're big shoes to fill, but it sure sounds like she's on the right path. Nate Morabito, News Channel 11. In your corner.
Edens will head west in February to officially begin her brand new military career.
The bulletproof backpack, perhaps a product of our times, the Bullet Blocker company markets its backpack as an added level of defense for anyone that may encounter a violent situation. It's specifically aimed at keeping kids safe. Whether they're walking home from school or wandering the halls headed to class, the backpack promises to stop handgun bullets in their tracks. News Channel 11's community watchdog Nate Morabito joins us now live from Shooter's Edge in that's a gun range in Piney Flats with a special report tonight.
Nate, you put the product to the test. We've been watching that test. What happened?
Okay, so this is the bulletproof backpack. Joe Curran with Bullet Blocker tells me since the creation of this backpack, his Massachusetts-based company has sold thousands of them. The cost, we paid $220 to get it shipped to our TV station there in Johnson City. We then decided, well, let's bring it down to Shooter's Edge in Piney Flats, strap it to a dummy, and then get gun experts to try to fire away to see if it lives up to his promise. Kind of like this. So the bulletproof backpack doesn't claim to stop assault rifles or AK-47s, only handguns, specifically 9mm to 44 Magnum. Well, we tested it out and found out it does cost a pretty penny, but it also does work. All it takes is one bullet in one gun in the hand of one irrational person.
Lightweight, flimsy.
With your average $16 backpack,
yeah, bullet would go right through this.
That single round could be fatal.
This is like what they put in a flak jacket.
But what if you had on...
You got a little more weight here, it's a little more substantial, a little more rigid in its build.
The bulletproof backpack.
You got your ballistic panel right here.
You guys ever seen anything like it before?
No, that's the first time.
It retails for more than $200.
It's an interesting idea. I'm surprised somebody didn't, come up with that sooner.
And in certain situations could be worth every penny. After just an hour on the range, Ray Raytheal left convinced.
After 6 rounds, I'm absolutely a believer. I'm impressed.
So how did we get to that point?
Nobody's going to be running around with an empty backpack. So.
He and Matt Reimer loaded each backpack with phone books, attached them to dummies, and then took aim.
Range is locked.
First, they shot up the regular backpack.
All 5 rounds penetrated all the way through the bag.
That person would be dead.
Yep.
That person
Absolutely.
is dead. Those are fatal shots.
Then they turned their aim to the one that claims to be bulletproof. The bullets went through the phone book. They went through the backpack, but as soon as they hit this ballistic pad,
correct,
they stopped.
They made no penetration through the pad.
The shooting instructor admits the boy or girl wearing this bag wouldn't walk away untouched.
You are going to feel the force. It might knock the individual down.
But at least he or she would walk away. What could a blunt force like that do?
It could go as far, if it was close range and a .357, it could go as far to break a rib, but that's much better than a fatal shot because anything in that area would be fatal.
This is what one round looks like after it hit the bulletproof backpack. Proof that barring an assault rifle attack or wounds to the face or chest, this offers more protection than that $16 version. But the even bigger question, are any parents willing to pay more than $200 for this extra protection?
I can't believe it happened here.
From the 2010 shooting at Sullivan Central High School,
these officers save children's lives today.
To a planned attack at a Carter County school.
We actually had someone that had a student that had plotted out how many rooms, how many potential kills, and so forth. Whether they were ever going to act on it, we don't know.
A gun on campus at Science Hill High School.
Despite the event, it was a great day because no one was hurt.
To most recently, a gun and ammo at Damascus Middle School.
In talking with him, basically all we could determine, and we're still investigating that, is that he just did it for attention.
There have been enough reminders of the potential dangers in our region.
I think that we can never be safe enough for, for our children, so I would be interested in learning about possible ways to increase security.
Still,
it's quite a bit heavier.
Jane Ellis,
the whole front of the body of the student is still exposed.
Doesn't think this backpack is the solution.
The likelihood of a bullet coming, if there's a random shot of it hitting a backpack, I mean, there are a lot of other exposed areas of the body.
The mother of a Liberty Bell 8th grader, Ellis, remains skeptical.
I'm very interested in protecting the children in school security and safety, but I think it's very expensive to expect these kids to buy it, and I'd be a little bit concerned that it might actually encourage some students to test its viability.
The backpacks and other equipment are great, but those would have to be in an ideal situation to be 100% effective.
Her son's school resource officer offers up an alternative, and it's free.
Be involved with the PTA, go to the PTA meetings, ask the principal, what emergency plan do you have in place?
Officer Eric Hilton says make sure your school's emergency plan involves first responders. Also, teach your kids a valuable lesson.
Just to listen and do what the teachers are trained and do what the teacher says.
Hilton says he gives his daughter that advice all the time.
Understand that when the staff or principals are giving direction and police officers are there, when there's a drill, a practice, that they listen.
In addition, he tells her to report anything out of the ordinary to an adult.
Give us the opportunity to investigate it.
That said,
my kids spent $200 on a backpack for a fancy name, so if I can get one for the same price that is going to stop a bullet, I absolutely will.
Ray Raytheal is ready to take it a step further. Like a helmet for a bike, he is sure this is added protection for his children. You have 2 middle school age kids.
Correct.
After seeing what you just saw, are you going to buy one of these?
Absolutely. I think this is it's actually a value for what you're getting. I'm highly impressed, and I'm very much going to look into it. Of course, that's making a different color for my daughter. Well, no worries there. The backpack does come in pink and other colors, but you won't be able to find it at a local retailer. This is only available online. We've attached a link to our website, WJHL.com, the keyword bulletproof. Now, for the last hour or so, we've been live testing the bulletproof backpack to see if, in fact, it works. Remember, we know for sure it stopped the first 6 bullets. That's what we know. Since then, the head instructor here has fired an additional 12 bullets. You can see them right here on this front side. 3 ended up making its way through. But as the bullet blocker folks would tell you, those first 6 would have made the difference. When we fired about 18, 3 eventually made it through this backpack. Nate Morabito, News Channel 11, in your corner.